and made me go down to apologise. I don't know why I had to do all the apologising when the whole thing had been Dad's idea, but I guess Mum thought that I would be less likely to get in trouble being so small. Anyway, I sensed it was a bad idea to go and own up and sure enough it was. From that moment onwards, despite my apology, I was a marked man as far as their son was concerned. It all came to a head when I was walking down the corridor on that last evening after a day skiing, and I was just wearing my ski thermal leggings and a t-shirt. The spotty, overweight teenager came out of his room and saw me walking past him in what were effectively ladies' tights. He pointed at me, called me a sissy, started to laugh sarcastically and put his hands on his hips in a very camp fashion. Despite the age and size gap between us, I leapt on him, knocked him to the ground and hit him as hard as I could. His father heard the commotion and raced out of his room to find his son with a bloody nose and crying hysterically and over-dramatically. That really was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I was hauled to my parents' room by the boy's father and made to explain my behaviour to Mum and Dad. Dad was hiding a very wry grin, but Mum was truly horrified, and that was me grounded. So ended another cracking family holiday. When I was growing up, my Aunt Mary Rose and Uncle Andrew, another former army brigadier, would often come and stay for Christmas with us at our home. I remember once when Dad, with me in tow and training, stretched cling film over their loo seat, always a great gag, but it went down terribly. So Dad tried another, and eventually after several other poorly received practical jokes, my aunt and uncle decided it was time to go home early. What they hadn't bargained on was that my father anticipated that move and had removed their car's spark plugs ahead of time, so all they could do was sit in the car fuming, all packed up with the engine turning over and over. My aunt and uncle, though, have always been such close friends of our family, and looking back through my life, they have been wonderful, kind, constant for me. I cherish their friendship so much. Despite the jokes, Dad always felt the same way. It's proof that love can tease its own. Dad's cold upbringing bred in him a determination to do it differently. Where he lacked in affirmation and cuddles, he gave both to me and Lara in spades. Above all, Dad wanted to be a cosy father to us, and he was the best. For that I'm so grateful. And despite losing him all too early when I was aged 26, the truth is that I could not have been better preparation and training for the life I received through his example. He was a politician for over 20 years and a loyal, hard-working backbencher MP, but he never reached the higher echelons of political office. He never really seemed to want that. What he aspired to most in life was to be close to his family. There was no doubt that he loved his work and he worked to make a difference to better people's lives, but his ambitions lacked that ruthless drive so common in politics, and our lives were so much the richer for it. I guess his career was being a good dad. I remember, for example, the time at prep school when I was chosen for the under-9s rugby team. Well, to be more accurate, I was chosen to be a linesman, as I wasn't good enough for the actual team. Anyway, it was a cold, miserable winter's day, and there were no spectators out watching, which was uncommon. Normally, at least a few boys or teachers would come out to watch the school matches, but on this cold, blustery day, the touchlines were deserted except for one lone figure. It was my dad, standing in the rain, watching me, his son, perform with my linesman duties. I felt so happy to see him, but also I felt guilty. I mean, I hadn't even made the team, and here he was to watch me running up and down waving a silly flag. Yet it would mean the world to me. When the half-time whistle blew, it was my big moment. On I ran to the pitch, the plate of oranges in my hands, with Dad applauding from the touchline. Lives are made in such moments. Likewise, I remember Dad playing in the fathers and sons cricket match. All the other fathers were taking it very seriously, and then there was my dad in an old African safari hat coming into bat and tripping over his wicket, out for a duck. I loved that fun side of Dad, and everyone else seemed to love him for it as well. To be a part of that always made me smile.